Well, good morning, everyone. Today is April 9th at church camp. Just going to briefly talk about last night. And so it's just going to be myself and Chris this morning because,
Wayne is otherwise indisposed.
yeah, Wayne is that way. Hi, Wayne. Hi, Kathy.
Wow. Hi, Kathy.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so previous video, Chris and I had talked about the two sightings I had. Him and I had the one back up over this way, and I had the one over there. And that is just unusual. There I go whistling. Sweet. That is unusual. I've never had two sightings, daytime sightings, in one trip. It's different. Well, it gets even crazier. About 70 and maybe 70, 80 yards in the direction that this camera is pointing, Wayne and Sue. Wayne and Sue pulled up and they parked, just right there. And so they're walking over this way, and as they're walking over, way back off in that tree line back there, tall, black individual ran from right to left, and I was able to watch him for probably close to 100 yards going through the woods, and it was fast. So that's 3 daytime sightings in one day. I am flabbergasted about that. It is so unusual. I mean, that I would say that never happens, but it just happened. So then moving into last night, the 3 of them were sitting kind of facing back this way, and I was facing looking back over there. And, so I had all kinds of movement going on. Not a lot of twinkle lights, but there were some twinkle lights. So they ended up turning around, and, the whole night just was like that. There was physical movement just all over the place. Not even sure how to put it into words, other than it was like that there had to have been, Chris and I both got the same feeling that there was 12 of them here. Kind of makes me wonder if maybe we were told that. No idea. That's just, we both came up with that at the same time, and there it is. There may have been more than 12 here. There were a lot. There was movement all over the place. Eye glow, when they bioluminesce their eyes green. I saw that at least 3 times last night. A lot of twinkle lights, some distortions. It was just a phenomenal night. And, ended up going to bed last night. Didn't hear a lot last night, other than at one point I got woke up and I could hear, it wasn't bipedal steps. It was, it was a 4-legged animal. And I'm calling it that we had a mountain lion in the camp last night. I could hear it breathing. They have a particular way they're breathing, kind of when they're interested in something, or they're just kind of, and then it would get a little guttural growl, not loud, but it was definite, and it was right outside my tent, by the head of me, and hi kitty, no big deal. But anyway, that's my story. I'm going to hand this over to Chris, and and he'll give you his side of it, and we'll go from there.
Be gentle.
Be gentle. As we look at the fire, I don't know. I mean, earlier in the day, I was lamenting to Kevin that this wasn't one of my top 3 locations, and I had to reassess that. Last night was it was busy around here last night. It was cool. There was everything Kevin said happened. I felt like it reminded me of kind of the energy that we have at West Side. It was like an edgy, not like a bad way, but like an edgy vibe, and it was like a hyper vibe around here last night. It was just strange. I think maybe some of another one of our points of, I won't say contention, but I am under the impression that these guys don't know me or really know us that well. Kevin got a little bit of communication earlier in the day where they mentioned a name that they've referred to him in the past. So I don't know if that blows that theory of mine out of the water, but I felt like they kind of warmed up to us a little bit last night. It was, I was saying while it was going on last night, like, I don't get super impressed all the time because I've just seen a lot of this stuff, but it was an impressive night. Like they were literally all around. I don't know that we got told that number like Kevin said, but if I was trying to count or just come up with a figure, that's what came up to me, was that there was at least 12 of them surrounding, and and all around too, like the direction I'm facing over there. One of the validatingly cool things was that Wayne has a new date, and he brought her out with us, and that's unusual. But he let Kevin and I know, and we love Wayne. We want him to be happy, and she's a sweetheart. She's really nice, and she had a sighting last night. She wasn't somebody that was she was not, a lack of a better term, a squatcher at all. An open-minded person, but and curious. And I can't think of a better way to introduce yourself to the Sasquatch phenomenon if you're somebody fresh off the boat than what this girl witnessed last night. It was undeniable, and we all kind of laughed and said, you know what, welcome to the club, man. Like, this is what goes on here. So, yeah, I think it was a great night. It's beautiful up here. The weather was just right, other than there's a pond behind us where the symphony of frogs was going off last night for the majority of the evening, which was muffled other sound a little bit. And then after I went to bed last night, when the frogs died down, because I'm right next to the pond, I heard footsteps walking around in the tent. And I think something was messing with my little kitchen area that I have at the by the gate of my truck. So I heard stuff moving around, and that's not the first time that's happened. But it wasn't an unusual evening. Like, I didn't have any unusual things happen after I went to bed. But it was pretty awesome. Last night was like at a higher end of activity that I've ever seen. It was that busy. So I'm looking forward to another night out here with this, and we'll see what happens, man. You just these Mogollon Rim locations are, this is a hot zone up here. It really is. This is an active area. There is a population of these guys that have probably lived here for a super long time. So just feel lucky to be a knower and to be around this and get to witness some of these things, because they're absolutely fantastic. So anyway, I'm going to turn it back over to the Big Mamook, and love you guys. Peace out.
All right, so there you have it. we'll get another video probably shot later this afternoon. I've actually got a Diddy Mow out of camp this morning. I've got some things I got to go take care of in town. I'll be back out here about 1 o'clock. So
Abandoning me.
You got coffee, you're good.
I do.
You got cigarettes, you're good.
I do.
You got Wayne, you're good.
I do.
But anyway, love you all. Thanks for listening. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Stay safe. Peace out.